F1 testing is done and dusted, and as always, we've learned nothing, except that Haas and Sauber are still slow. McLaren are still seen as the favourites to have the benchmark car of the field. Can this finally be their year to reclaim the Drivers' Championship after 17 years? Or will Lewis Hamilton make history in red overalls? Since everyone is making predictions before the season kicks off in a few days, I thought, why not make some as well? And we'll see at the end of the year how accurate they were. So, without wasting any more time, here's my one prediction for each driver in the 2025 season. Starting with Sauber's rookie, Gabriel Bortoleto. It's unfortunate really, as the Sauber car didn't look particularly quick or show much improvement in testing, but tests don't always tell the full story. My prediction for Bortoleto is that he will outperform Nico in at least 5 races. For Nico, this might be a bit bold, but I think he'll manage a top 6 finish in at least one race. As for team prediction, Sauber will score at least double the points they did last year but still finish at the bottom of the standings. Now on to Williams. This might seem harsh, but I think Alex's best finish in the race this year will be 8th place. For Carlos, I feel he'll score points in the opening race and finish ahead of Albon in the standings, and Williams will have fewer crashes this season and finish 8th overall. Next up we have the Visa Cash App team. For Yuki, I'll say he will once again be the lead driver, making it his 3rd consecutive year in that role. Since he scored 30 points last year, I feel he'll score over 50 this year. As for Isaac Hadjar, I think he will collide with his teammate at some point. Both will vent their frustrations over the radio, and they'll be summoned by the stewards for inappropriate language. And he'll score his first points in F1 within the first 4 races. From a constructor's standpoint, they will finish 7th in the standings. Next up, we have the Haas team. Ocon will again crash into his teammate as he does every year, costing the team valuable points, but he will still emerge as their lead driver. And I am pretty certain that Ocon will give Haas their first top 5 finish in a race since 2018. Ollie Behrman will score nearly the same points as Ocon and will outperform him multiple times. From a constructor's point of view, Haas will finish 9th in the standings. Then we have the Alpine team, where Pierre will come really close to a podium this season, but unlike last year, will fall just short. Jack will struggle to match Gasly's pace and will score about half his points, putting Flavio Briatore in a complicated situation, whether to keep Jack or replace him with Franco or Paul Aron. I think Alpine will finish 6th, despite not developing a new car this season. The reason they have a better package is that other midfield teams are also not spending their precious funds on this year's car, but rather on the 2026 one with the new regulations. Now let's talk about the Aston Martin gang. I have a feeling we'll see Fernando Alonso on the podium again. Maybe not many times, but at least once this season. As for Lance, he'll once again be outperformed by his 2-time world champion teammate. Not really a prediction, to be honest. Other than that, I think he'll have fewer DNFs than last year, and I know people are going to go crazy in the comments, but I think Lance will finish the year in the top 10 of the championship. As for the team, Aston Martin will finish 5th in the constructors. They'll remain in the grey zone, much slower than the top 3, but significantly quicker than the bottom 5 teams. Now coming to Mercedes, Toto Wolff will punch his desk again this season. Meanwhile, I expect the George Max rivalry to continue. George will win at least one race and comfortably outperform his rookie teammate. Kimi will score his first podium within the first 5 races and claim his maiden pole position this season. I don't see him winning a race this year though. He will also have a few crashes, sometimes as a result of pushing too hard and sometimes just being unlucky. And Mercedes will once again have the 4th best car and finish 4th in the standings. Next up we have the Ferraris. Starting with Charles, I don't think he will have an easy time with Hamilton as his teammate. Despite securing more podiums, he will finish behind Lewis in the standings. Both will be in title contention for most of the season. Ferrari will start the year strong but fall behind in the development race. As for Lewis, I think Lewis will win more races than Charles but stand on fewer podiums overall and will narrowly beat him in the standings. With a more competitive car underneath him, I'm sensing more clashes between him and Max once again. I mean, they both really love each other on track, don't they? I feel like Lewis will finish 3rd in the standings this year ahead of his teammate, and my very bold and ambitious prediction for Ferrari is that they will win the Constructors' Championship this season. Now coming to the McLaren boys, once again, I think Lando will have to settle for runner-up in the championship. But my main prediction for Lando is that he'll win more races than Max this year. I feel like intra-team battles, poor strategy here and there, and a few occasional mistakes will once again cost Lando crucial points. And for his teammate, I think Oscar will also win more races than he did last season. I have a feeling that Oscar and Max will clash on more than one occasion, and it'll be similar to what we saw in Austria and Abu Dhabi last season. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I don't think Oscar will be in championship contention this season. Team-wise, I feel McLaren will finish 3rd in the Constructors' standings. And finally, we come to Red Bull. starting off with the reigning world champion. You know, this is going to sound cliche or like an obvious one, but I think Max will once again retain his title and claim his 5th consecutive championship. Unless Red Bull is significantly slower than its competition, I don't see any other driver beating Max in the title fight. It'll be much closer than last year though. As for his teammate, I think Liam will win at least one race this season and score more than 5 podiums. I don't think he'll challenge Max for the championship, but I believe he'll put up a tough fight against the McLarens and Ferraris. And I don't know why, but I have this gut feeling that he'll make enemies of Lando and Oscar on track and frustrate them in many races. And Red Bull will finish runner-up in the Constructors this year and will narrowly be edged out by Ferrari at the end. So this is how I feel the Constructors standings would look in 2025. And the driver standings would look something like this. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.